welcome to the first in our series of films on motion and force. We are on a bridge overlooking the M23. We've decided to start our series of films by looking at some definitions and explanations. Let's start with speed. Keeping in mind there are two types of speed. Average speed is distance travelled divided by time taken. For example, if you travel 50 metres in 10 seconds, you could write it as 50 metres over 10 seconds, or metres per second. But this takes into account that the person is travelling at a constant speed. What if they're not? That is where actual speed comes in. Imagine the object is a car and it travels 10 kilometres in 20 minutes. That can be written as 10,000 metres in 1,200 seconds, or 8.3 metres per second. This is 30 kilometres per hour. But the car will not always be travelling at 30 kilometres per hour. At some points it will be travelling at 0 kilometres per hour because it is stopped at traffic lights. And at some points it could be travelling at 60 kilometres per hour because it's on a motorway. This is the difference between actual and average speed. Actual speed is the speed at a given instant, whereas average speed is the total distance travelled over total time taken. This means that if your average speed is under the speed limit, you can still get pulled up by the police if your actual speed is over the speed limit at any given instant. Now let's take a step back and look at velocity. Speed is measured as distance over time. So for instance, someone could tell you to travel at 50 kilometres per hour for 30 minutes. Which way do you want me to go? Exactly. You don't know where you're supposed to go. But with velocity, you get direction as well. For example, 50 kilometres an hour for 30 minutes. North. Aha! Now you know which way to go and where you're going. Speed is a scalar quantity because it only has magnitude, whereas velocity is a vector quantity because it has magnitude and direction. If you look at these cars below us, you can see vector measurements. Each car has speed, and it is actual speed at a given moment, and they are heading south, so they have velocity, a vector measurement. Acceleration is a positive change in velocity. Acceleration is defined as final velocity minus initial velocity over time taken. If there is an increase in velocity, we will have a positive answer, but if the result is negative because the object is slowing down, we call this deceleration or retardation. The units for acceleration are interesting. We are dealing with velocity, so we are initially talking about meters per second, but we are also talking about rate of change of velocity, so we need to talk about meters per second per second. This is abbreviated to meters per second squared. Science rocks. Deal with it.